Now I'm extremely honored to introduce our keynote speaker, a leader who personifies that Grady spirit, that intangible mix of leadership, drive, and personality, and who does so in ways that offer inspiration for us all. Randy Travis, a 1982 graduate of Grady College, is a Peabody Award-winning investigative reporter for Fox 5 Atlanta. Travis joined WAGA in 1990, and in 1994 he moved to the station's investigative unit, the Fox 5 I-Team. In 2018, Randy investigated police roadside drug test kits for a series called $2 Tests, Bad Arrests, and discovered 145 false positives in Georgia in just 1 year. The series of stories revealed that people had been wrongly incarcerated as a result of these false positives, and the investigation prompted law enforcement agencies worldwide to review their drug kit policies. This investigation also won the 2018 Peabody Awards, one of 30 honorees. Travis has also won 2 National Edward R. Murrow Awards and more than 20 regional Emmys. In addition, he was the recipient of the 2005 Henry W. Grady Mid-Career Alumni Award from Grady College. In 2015, Travis was named to the Silver Circle, a lifetime achievement honor given by the Southeast chapter of the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Randy has worked in positions at the Athens Banner-Herald, the Athens Observer, WMC-TV in Memphis, Tennessee, WYFF-TV in Greenville, South Carolina, and WMAZ-TV in Macon. Ladies and gentlemen, a true member of the Grady family, Randy Travis.
Thank you, Dean Davis. This is so cool. Back when I graduated, we didn't have this. We all gathered as a school and colleges in Sanford Stadium as one big group of people. We would stand up as one college. The president would bless us. We'd be graduated. You're done. It's all over. Now, who can get grandma and grandpa to IHOP the fastest? But it is great to be back here at Grady, back home. I grew up here in Athens. My mom graduated from the University of Georgia. My dad was a longtime biochemistry professor here. You can see how much influence he had on my career. It's all good. I was arts, he was sciences. Apparently those go together. So he's very proud of what I've done. Since his lab was over at the old grad studies building, Grady was literally my backyard playground. In fact, back in high school, they let us come over to Grady and practice in the basement studios, but only in the black and white studios, not the color studio. Color was for the paying kids, the college kids. Don't go in there, you might break something. This was cutting edge technology, color television. But I dreamed of what it might be like to one day walk into that color TV studio. You know, would it be like Dorothy going from black and white Kansas to the Technicolor of Munchkinland? And, you know, actually, it was just like that. Grady was teeming with colorful, creative teachers and fellow students. The instructors here taught us skills, but they also provided something just as important. They gave us confidence. Looking back, I had no business being in television news right after I graduated. I was 20 years old, still looked like I was 16. And yet, Grady helped give me the drive to keep applying, to ignore all those rejection letters, all those no's. I have a whole box of no's in my basement that I go through now. But to keep driving through all those no's until someone finally said yes. And that's all you need to break into this business. Just one person, one boss, to finally tell you yes. For those of you who are public relations or advertising majors, I'm assuming the same rules apply to you. I don't know, I'm just guessing here. Back when I was graduating, you guys seem to have no problem finding jobs. You also drove nicer cars than everybody else. Is that still true? Yeah, okay. So most of what I'm going to say today is directed toward the news grads, but there's a message I hope all of you here will take home. It's the responsibility we all share. Those Grady years were such fun. Like many of you, I chose this career because I'm naturally curious. I like to be the first to find out, and then the first to tell someone what I found out. Even now, 37 years into my TV news career, every day is different. And even if different doesn't automatically make your job fun, it's certainly never boring. I'll tell you one thing, though, I did not realize all those years ago when I started here at Grady, something I want to make sure that you understand if you don't already. What we do, what you will soon be doing, especially the journalists in the room, is important. More important than ever. Guardians of the galaxy important. Guardians of our freedoms. Which brings me to my handy prop, water. Every morning when I stumble into the kitchen, the first thing I grab is a water glass. Coffee can wait. Science says that what your body really needs after 8 hours of dehydration is water. Helps you recover. Now, for some reason, I look for a particular water glass to drink my water. Maybe it's the shape or the feel, or maybe it's just habit. Makes no difference as long as it gets the job done. So I was drinking my water one day, and I started thinking about something else that it's a term I just despise, but something I want to talk about today. Fake news. All right, stay with me here. When I graduated from Grady in 1982, the term fake news had not really reached our country's lexicon. Get something wrong in print or on TV, and legitimate news organizations get it quickly corrected. Sometimes reporters get reassigned, get too many things wrong, and some get fired. That's not fake news, that's a mistake, and humans make those. But in my career lately, the term fake news is often used in an attempt to discredit a story that someone just doesn't like. And some people go along with that because the story doesn't fit their narrative. They want to believe the story is fake. They're primed to be persuaded. Now, two of my bigger investigations prove this out. A few years ago, we exposed the truth behind a beloved animal shelter director who claimed to be saving unwanted dogs across the Southeast. She was actually secretly killing them, keeping the donation money, and using it to fund a gambling habit in North Carolina, at the casino up there. Her supporters accused us of making it all up. Her defense attorney actually tried to blame us during her trial. Well, after her conviction, she's now serving 10 years in a state penitentiary. We also exposed the truth behind a cop who claimed to be a Purple Heart honoree. His supporters accused us of making it all up. His defense attorney actually tried to blame us during the trial. After his conviction, the ex-cop is now a felon and had to surrender all his firearms. Fake news? No. Just news that didn't make someone happy. And that happens a lot in our business, especially when you're an investigative reporter. Veteran reporters have thick skins. We get called a lot of bad things. Still, it troubles me that some people are so quick to accuse us of making things up. And I started thinking, part of that may relate to how they get their water. Now, when our founding fathers came up with perhaps the most brilliant political document ever written, the United States Constitution, they realized they needed some independent group to keep an eye on this new form of government. They couldn't rely on the people to do it. They would be disorganized, too fractured. So they included specific protection for one private industry by name, the press. One of those founding fathers was a budding Broadway musician named Alexander Hamilton. You've heard of him. Good. Well, he said this: "The liberty of the press consists in my idea in publishing the truth from good motives and for justifiable ends, though it reflect on government, on magistrates, or individuals." Now, Alexander's bro-enemy, Thomas Jefferson, said, "Were it left to me to decide whether we should have a government without newspapers or newspapers without a government, I should not hesitate a moment to prefer the latter. But I should mean that every man should receive those papers and be capable of reading them." The late Senator Daniel Moynihan delivered my absolute favorite quote when it comes to what we do. He said, "If the newspapers of a country are filled with good news, the jails of that country will be filled with good people." By the way, he's also the guy who said, "You are entitled to your own opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts." As journalists, our patriotic duty is to keep an eye on government, Ask our leaders to explain and justify their decisions, and then let the people know what's happening. Deliver the facts as best we can. Our country works best when we all know what's going on, an informed electorate. Okay, back to the water. I believe news is to our country like water is to our bodies. It keeps everything working at optimum capacity. It keeps us healthy and clear-headed. Now, it makes no difference what container you use to get your news, goblet, frosted mug, sippy cup, network news, local news, newspapers. You can drink it straight from the tap. You can add ice cubes to it if you like it colder, as long as you keep one thing straight. Make sure the water is still water. Make sure you're consuming real news. If people start adding things because they don't like the taste of water, sugar, syrup, whatever they put in those energy drinks, you have changed the essence of what you're drinking. It's no longer water, no longer news. You're consuming flavored news, not the real thing, maybe even unhealthy. As Grady grads, all of you can do something about that. For me, journalism started out as a way to cut in line to see what's going on, to be on the front row of cool moments, to maybe sneak into that color TV studio one day when no one's around and see what all the fuss is about. Journalism may still be cool and fun, but it's also far more important today than it was back then. You're graduating into a world where small newspapers are rapidly closing. Right now, 400 counties in our country do not have a newspaper to keep them informed, and that number is not getting any smaller. Competition in the marketplace is shrinking. You know, I hate getting beat on a story, but that's why I work harder to do better, because of competition. Without it, I worry about the quality those shrinking number of news outlets will produce. Yet people in this country are still seeking out information. They do want to be informed, even if it's mainly from social media. That's why I said before, you're the guardians of the galaxy. You're going into a world where people will not like the taste of what you're producing. Do it anyway. Some will try to make it about you to deflect the facts you report. Do it anyway. Despite what some may believe, the rules have not changed. Your job is to still provide people information, not confirmation. Speak truth to power, no matter who's in office. Give the little guy a voice. Deal in a world of facts and truth, not fables and spin. I know, practicing that kind of journalism today is harder than ever. You can lead them to water, but it's up to them to drink it. But I'm here to give you 3 tools that should help. See, the rule of 3 even applies at commencement speeches. First, be transparent. Show your viewers, readers, or listeners how hard you work to get the facts and views from all sides of an issue. And when you make a mistake, and you will, own up to it. Fix it. Honor your profession with honesty, and most people will respect what you do. Second, be calm. You will be challenged, berated, accused, insulted. Develop a thick skin. Be the calmest person in the conversation. Don't take the bait, even if they're throwing it right at you. I engage upset viewers whenever I can. Often I realize they're upset with a story they've never watched or read. They're only reacting to a headline or a tease or a tweet. Take a deep breath and be ready to engage people who are angry with you. Honor your profession with humility, and people will be drawn to what you do. Finally, and I think this is probably the most important of the 3, be an ambassador for news. That means being informed. Watch a newscast every day. Read a newspaper every day. Don't rely solely on what your social media feeds are sending you. When you're hanging out with your friends, God forbid it's the business major who knows more about what's going on in your community than you do, or the fine arts major who says, hey, did you see that 60 Minutes piece? Everyone else did, and you didn't. Good grief. You're Grady graduates. You should be the most informed of anyone in your network. You're the one who should be looked to for the truth. Honor your profession by being a news consumer, and people will be drawn to your knowledge. Now, your learning will not end when you leave this campus. In fact, your next teachers will be your competitors, the competitors you watch or whose stories you will read. But you won't get any better if you choose not to be informed. Being an ambassador of news will give you the confidence to call out people who claim to be sharing real news, although it's really water mixed with, I don't know, Russian vodka maybe? Expect to see a lot of that next year. So, stay thirsty, my friends. This is a crucial time for journalism. Rise to the occasion and do what you've been taught here. You've got the tools now. I know you've got the confidence. Thank you.